just went through a crazy one in my mind about it. And when I'm just not taking it seriously, like as far as in my mind, and I shouldn't have to anyways. It's internal. The brain is internal, you know. These things are not true, they're not true. It's where there's a perception of if you think it, you are it, but that's not true. If somebody's messing with that and guiding you, trying to trap you, and I've done all of it. I've done fucking goddamn all of it. It's this, and you have to be careful because it looks like it, but it's this disdain and this like, it's not thinking, it's responding internally. It's responding. The intent, the feeling is faux. It's not real. So it's purely created for retaliation purposes of inside the mind. So if I have a question inside my mind appear that I don't particularly like, or that bothers me, or the tone is off, or I don't like the person inside my mind, if somebody's putting something in there, then I will think, not even think, I wouldn't even consider it thinking. I mean, we're thinking all the time. Everything's thinking, but it's not from the soul, It's not from the heart. It's not true. So, it's like, and that's why I say I can't doubt myself, because you start doubting yourself, that's a slippery fucking slope of like internal madness. But even if I do go down that slope, I do see and make it to the end and go, that's crazy, and then I go back up. So, but the thing that I struggle with is the actual daily of it, that this occurs. I already know that it's not true. I already know that in my mind, this thing that is that bothers me, this rhetoric or this disdain, that I'd rather not talk about it. But I just don't see how they could play into that. But humans have. So what are you gonna do? What can you do? I mean, in a reality, what sick world doesn't tell somebody that he has a fucking brain implant and then does all these sort of things, and then he responds negatively, and then we share the same values. for certain. We share the same values. So it's like they impose something on me that is not true. I put it right back on them. And it's easy to do because my brain is a movie maker. My brain is very visual. You start talking about something, it sticks with me. You start talking about something disturbing, it sticks with me. My mind goes on loop. So I'm very visual. This is a blessing and it's a curse. But it's almost, ironically, it is almost like kryptonite. Or it's like, maybe that's a horrible example, but it's like, it's a double-edged sword. I have to, and this is assuming it's not me. If it's not me, then this is pretty fucked up. But, if it's some sort of autopilot situation or something, my mind, or if I just have this illusion of free will, which is, I'm not going to go into that one, which I should, but I'm trying to stay on topic here. If I have to make sure that I don't go into their sort of setting that is made. I'm incredibly visual. I'm incredibly when I want to be. And I know what is we share the same. We share the same values. The same. We share it all. Somebody makes me think, or if somebody leads me to think of something, I'm gonna think about it for them. I'm gonna make sure they get every fucking penny they want. I'll make sure that if they lead me to that thought, that's sort of how I see it. It's like, you lead me to this sort of thing, I'll make sure you get your fucking every penny's worth. If you're viewing my mind, I'll make sure you get every goddamn penny's worth. I think that's not the saying. I think it's something else, but it's like, I'll make sure you get every, with your time or something. That's how I sort of view it. And I can go into that. And I'm like, I'm gonna, and then I come out of it, But I have to try not to do that. But it's so difficult because it's like, viewer in the mind, fuck the viewer in the mind. Like, it's like, I've said this, it's like waking up. It's like trying to wake up from a bad dream. So you just do absurdity. It's like trying to fight absurdity with absurdity to end the absurdity. And I just can't do that. I just can't do that. Because it ends up taking my peace away. It ends up taking my sort of calmness away. And that's why I say thank goodness for memory, because I think to myself, I'm like, was this ever like this years ago? Was this ever like this even months ago? And I'm like, no. So then I'm like, all right, cool. And again, this is all big boobs, big boobs, big boobs, big boobs. What did you see big boobs? Did you not see big boobs? Did you think about big boobs? So this is all in the mind. I could do a gnarlier one for you if you like, but I'm not going to do that. But this is what it's like, you know. So I don't know how I was really writing into it. I sort of felt, again, if this is not, if it's not me, then it's kind of fucked up. But if it is, you know, I was really writing into it last night about it, and I was like sort of analyzing it and dissecting it, the reactive process of it, and it really is this, like, whenever I feel they interfere with, like, I dropped a fork, like, so it feels as though my body is not my body anymore. I don't know how to describe it. And it feels as though, like, when something occurs, like I dropped a fork, and I'll be like, oh, they made me drop a fork. So then I will say something horrible into the effects of dropping a fork, whether it be sexist or racist, in the mind. So it's like I'm fighting again, like somebody's making me drop a fork. Somebody's controlling my body, my autonomy. Biggest thing I can think of, most thing I can, you know, retaliation to, you know, you can almost sort of conflate it with the devil in some sense. It's like how people say, you know, get out, you evil spirit of, but it's not that. It's like it's that same energy. Yeah, it's the mind retaliating, and like, what am I gonna do? Control them and make them drop a fork? You know what I mean? So the mind does this, and I have to. So this is what I was thinking about last night and writing about. I have to be able to basically let things happen to me. I have to basically condition myself to be whipped and not react. I have to condition myself like that. If I don't condition myself to that, I will be saying these horrible, saying these horrible, I think it's more that, saying these things in my mind versus thinking these things in my mind, you know? Because that's what it more feels as it's fleeting, you know? Now some of these things disturb me, and then I'm like, well, let me self-audit. And then I get into sort of a self-auditing loop, which I come out of the loop, and yeah. So, but I am infatuated with truth, especially with and that's what it makes you do. It makes you question this, makes you question that, makes you question this. But yeah, I can't make them drop a fork or do something like this. I can't jolt them, you know. So, and there's so many different types of it. There's like, but yeah, I was writing this down. I must not. I think I actually, I'll read it. I'll read it to you. And it's hard to remember this too, because memory's kind of very short term. And you don't really think about this. You don't think about this when you walk around in the day. You don't think about somebody watching your every fucking move and watching every fucking brain activity and all this sort of shit. So. But it says with the BCI visitors, : it's underlined here. And it says, don't play their game. Don't take their bait for retaliation. Don't try to have last word or use things to throw it back to them. That says here, I really don't like having someone in my mind. And I don't have a choice, so I either have to, or they just don't fucking read the mind anymore. I don't know. Okay, so I even forgot this. Their game, in quotes, can be self-audit internally with viewer. It says, if they are viewing mind, it's the same. This is I guess my observation here. If they are viewing the mind, what is it? Let me read it first and figure out what the hell I'm trying to say. Is same feeling as you. Yeah, so there's this disdain of like, I'm gonna ask you a question. Is this? Do you this? Do you this? And I just can't stand that there's like somebody in the mind asking me this sort of thing. So then I use that fuel and lash out. An inaccurate, saying things that are not true to them, with the lashing out. But then I'll do an audit where I'm like, I did one earlier, like maybe like 30 minutes ago or something, and it was like, either I'm saying it or they're saying it, I'm not sure. It's like, they're like, Robert, I need you to take this very seriously, despite our differences and despite our, if you like me or not, or all this sort of thing. This is very serious. Answer this question seriously. And not fall into the disdain or the retaliation of like, the habit of retaliation because of viewers in the mind. And then I answered it truthfully. I answered it how the core. I answered it of the core. That's not really how it felt, though. I didn't think about the core or truthfully when I answered it. I just answered it how, like, no, that's crazy. Why? Yeah. So it's very easy to get, it's so easy, at least it feels for me, and I feel like it would be for anybody too. That's to say, I wouldn't, so easy to get in the mind. We sort of demonstrated it earlier with me saying words and then, says, don't mirror their intent or context with sarcasm for retaliation internally. Let them insult you internally, sort of, it says. So I have to develop this sort of like, I must be able to get whipped. But yeah, that's probably the biggest issue there is with they ask me absurdity, I respond in absurdity. And when I respond, like I said, I visualize the absurdity. I make sure they get their money's worth. You know what I mean? So, I do not view them as a something that is, it's not like a, I said this before, it's not like I'm going, they're like, hey, they're not, it's not, this is my brain, this is my space. We ought to not have anyone speaking into anyone else's brain or any of this. So, again, like I said, I have to watch that because I don't want my days and my minutes and my hours and my days to be like this. I don't want to always be fighting the skits or whatever you want to call the Truman-y stuff, and all of it. I don't want my days to be like that. I want them to be how it used to be, where it's this calm and this feeling as though I'm not a fucking, some sort of autopilot or something, or voodoo doll, or getting jolted, or